Hey guys, welcome back. This is HD, and welcome to another StarCraft 2 broadcast. I'm going to be bringing you guys an exhibition matchup here between Sen, actually, and you guys may or may not remember him from back in the days of the beta. He's still a very active StarCraft 2 professional who, of course, came from Taiwan. And he is actually going to be playing against the winner of the HD World Tournament, which, as you guys all know, I held last year. Strelok was able to defeat Damaga 4-3 in that tournament, and Strelok actually boasting a massive win rate against Zerg of 65%. So this is going to be a Terran versus Zerg battle here, which is the classic matchup in StarCraft 2, and we're basically going to be watching a European in the form of Strelok versus the Taiwanese Sen, and let's see how this is going to go down. Once again, this is an exhibition matchup for all intents and purposes. I'm sure that it actually came from some kind of a tournament, but I, as you guys all know, try to find the best replays that I can find on the internet to bring to you guys on YouTube, and a lot of times the replays are actually submitted by you guys, the fans. When you guys see like a really good game from a tournament, you guys send me those replays, and I really appreciate that. That actually helps me a lot when it comes to bringing out some quality StarCraft 2 broadcasts. So if you guys have any really good games to send to me, please do send them in at HDreplays@gmail.com. I do check the replay, or check my inbox from time to time to search for any good replays that I can cast. And when I ask for replays, typically I want to see like a replay that featuring a pro. That's not to say that you guys can't send in a replay of yourself, but I would prefer to see a replay of a pro. I think most of us would agree that we want to see somebody good playing, and of course, we want to see an interesting game, you know, base races, very close matches, those kinds of things, any interesting strategies or tactics. Speaking of which, I actually saw this really cool strategy known as the Ghost Scroll sniping trick, which I think I'm going to try to bring to you guys in the next couple of videos, so be on the lookout for that. I actually saw this on Reddit/r/Starcraft, which is a huge community based around StarCraft 2. Hopefully a lot of you guys are registered on that. And some guy decided to post up this, I guess, finding that he found regarding the ability to scroll snipe on Ghost. And I'll talk more about that in the video coming up in the future. So hopefully you guys keep your eyes peeled out for that. But getting back to this game at hand here, let's go ahead and see what happens here. We do have Sen and Strelok, and Sen is the red Zerg. At the top right-hand corner, the map is Antigua's Shipyard. And of course, at the bottom, we do have Imba FXO.Strelok. He's been with FXO/Imba for pretty much ever. I don't think he's ever been on a different team ever since I started casting all the way back in the beta. So grats to Strelok, one of the few players that have really stuck around with this team for a very, very long time, and has been a pretty big powerhouse throughout Europe. I mean, not to the level, I don't think, of like Naniwa or Stefano, or any, you know, Hasuabs or Thorzane, but he's still been an extremely powerful and talented StarCraft 2 player. And need I say more about Sen? Sen has been pretty much the best player in Taiwan ever. Anytime that Blizzard holds their little regional championship, and what am I saying, not even little, it's a massive regional championship on Battle.net for BlizzCon, Sen has always finished in top 1 or 2. So it should be a pretty good matchup here. This is just going to be one game, not a best of 3, and we'll see what happens. This map, Antigua's Shipyard, in my opinion, is a very balanced map for both Terran and Zerg. I don't really feel like it favors one or another. Now, granted, I haven't looked up the statistics formally, but just from, you know, my perspective of playing Zerg against Terran, I do feel like it's a pretty balanced match. The third, obviously, one of the focal points, because there's rocks here and you can break it down to enter into your opponent's third. It's one thing that we will keep our eyes peeled out for in this matchup. Strelok here with a bunker, but he doesn't have the wall up, and now he finishes up with the SCV that was constructing the secondary supply depot. So that SCV will go down, but that cost of, you know, 50 minerals for that SCV, well worth it in terms of killing off about 5 or 6 Zerglings there, and of course preventing the immediate death of additional SCVs and maybe even perhaps mules. So that was very quick on Strelok's part, and good reaction on him to go ahead and get that supply depot up and finish off the barricade, thereby preventing the Zerglings from running inside his main and wreaking additional havoc. Looking back over at Sen's base, let's go ahead and see what this guy's up to. I love the position on that Roachhorn, by the way. It really prevents any units from running into the main. It just helps to further funnel and choke off that natural for the Zerg. Sen also has an additional crawler coming up, as well as that third tertiary queen, which I really am a big fan of. That queen helps her spread the creep in conjunction with the crawler. Very hard for Hellions to run by, and I don't foresee these two Hellions really doing that much damage at all. But look at this! Look at this! Strelok making a Banshee with Cloak back inside the main. This was not expected on my part at all. It's not very often that Terran players go for Cloak Banshees against Zerg. This is something that you would see more characteristically of Terrans in the Diamond League or lower. And the reason for that is because Zerg have so much of a natural defense against Banshees in the form of the Queen already. And getting that Cloak is such a gamble. Either you're going to get a lot of drones, or it's just going to fall flat on your face, and you're going to be pretty far behind in the game. So this is a big gamble from Strelok, not what I expected at all from the European, who is traditionally more known for his macro-based style of play. And we'll just have to see what happens as Sen is moving out with 4 roaches right now. You know, only making those roaches to defend against a Hellion. I don't see him making any more roaches, not trying to go for an all-in or anything like that. And he does have a Baneling Nest coming, but he doesn't have, oh god, he doesn't have the lair done yet, so his anti-air detection capabilities are going to be limited. He won't have the Overseer. He could make a Spore Crawler, but he really doesn't have any indication so far that a Banshee is in production. And so back in the main right here, that Banshee is on the way. Tons of tons of upgrades and buildings coming out here on the production tab. So I'll go ahead and close that out for something a little bit more smaller. And right now that Banshee is on the way with the medevac to boot. So Strelok is about to make his way into the Zerg side of things from the air with that Banshee, and we'll just have to see if Sen has the wherewithal here to make a Spore Crawler. You know, from Sen's point of view here, the only indication that Banshees are coming is that, well, actually, the units controlling the Xel'Naga Tower. That's really his only indication right now, and that's a pretty big indication considering there's 2 now flying across the center of the map. So hopefully Sen gets a Spore Crawler up. Yeah, there's a Spore Crawler coming inside the main. But it might actually not be in time. Now the 2 queens coming back from Sen may be able to help provide additional air defense and allow that Spore Crawler to come up. But in the meantime, a ton of drones are going down. 6 drones already. Those 2 queens trying to make their way back. And let's see, 9 drones have bit the dust. Or in this scenario, I guess, bit the creep. And finally, Sen gets his Overseer and 3 queens and the Spore Crawlers up. So his anti-air looking really strong. And this is what I'm really talking about. If you're going to invest in the Banshees with the Cloak, you have to do a ton of damage, and I'm not too sure if 9 drones against a Zerg who already has 3 hatcheries and I believe a macro hatch somewhere. No, he doesn't yet, but already has 3 hatcheries. I'm not sure if that is enough damage because Sen can easily reproduce those 9 drones very quickly. It doesn't really hurt his economy all that much. Now, what is Strelok going to do with the Cloak and the Banshee? He is bringing in a medevac with 8 Marines, and he could use the Banshees as additional support for these Marines. And let's see if he can do it or not. Those Zerglings are going to get around the Marines. They're doing some pretty good damage, and yeah, those Marines not really having a chance at all. And that's another problem of investing the initial gas into the Cloak and the Banshees. These Marines, unfortunately, just don't have that many upgrades. In fact, no combat shields and no +1/+1. So that's why those Zerglings pretty much ate those Marines up for breakfast. And I don't think Strelok is looking too good, guys, in this game. He's got to pull back. He's got to reconsider his battle plans here. All in all, though, I actually have to commend him on his SCV count. He's still got the 3rd. In fact, he just got the 3rd up, and his SCV count is still looking very healthy. Just 5 behind Sen. So I definitely feel like Strelok is still in this game, and let's see if he can make more use out of the Cloak and the Banshees here, or at least make some use out of these Banshees. He's killed off 1 roach right there, but that's about it. And Sen should be able to pull away since he does have roach speed. And now the Mutalisks have arrived, and Sen with the Mutas coming in, but now Strelok brings out the Cloak, so the Banshees are pretty much invisible, and now the Overseer comes in from the west, and that will allow these Mutalisks to clean up the remaining Banshees. Well done by Sen, who now is going to use that pivotal point that I was mentioning before on Antigua Shipyard. These rocks that are leading into the 3rd can be easily penetrated by a Zerg player, and it's the Terran player's responsibility, their responsibility to make sure that they have some kind of a wall up at the front here as a secondary layer in case the rocks go down. It's kind of like an insurance policy. And right now Strelok has not been paying his premiums. Otherwise, he would have that entire wall set up. And now a couple of spies coming in as well for Sen. 2 spies, in fact. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and spread out or something. No. Very clever right there from Sen. He's actually telling them to right-click follow the Marines. So wherever Strelok sends those Marines, those spies will be, those changelings will be alongside those. So Strelok is going to have a hard time detecting those Marines. And now Sen coming in with a huge flock of mutas here. Might have an opening to do some damage, but these Marines do have stim and 1-1. And I'm not too sure if Sen's best interests here are in attacking this group of Marines. Not getting cost efficient here, although he has killed off most of the Marines. I don't know if that was quite worth it. It might be if he can kill off the reactor core. And there goes the reactor along with the missile turret. And it looks like Sen here keeping about 2/3 or maybe a little bit more than that of his Mutalisks alive and killing off a good chunk of Marines, killing off the reactor, killing off a siege tank as well. Sen doing a great job here and weaving in and out, bobbing around, trying to additionally punch through the chink of armor that he has already found and trying to make that bigger and bigger and exploit the weakness of the Terran player. And really that weakness is the lack of mobility when compared to Mutalisks. Mutalisks can fly, they can do, well, they can fly around, they can avoid cliffs, and they're much faster than Marines unless the Marines stim up. So that's where we see Sen trying to eke out additional advantages here against the Terran player. Still no third wall up by these rocks, and Strelok might end up biting himself in the butt. If that's something that you could do, it would be pretty painful. But yeah, Strelok really needs to get a third wall up here, or a secondary wall up here, to prevent those rocks from going down, and thereby opening up a vulnerability at the third. And meanwhile here, Sen, you know, utilizing the fact that he's got map control to secure yet another base, and the 4th hatchery is now up and running. Look at this, Sen is almost maxed out. So is Strelok though. Wow, Strelok at only 16 minutes in this game has maxed out his army, and I guess he's gonna just go ahead and roll out now. That's actually really impressive, all things considered. You know, I would have put Strelok as behind in this game, but his macro has really put him ahead here. He was the one who maxed out first before his opponent Sen, and now Sen, despite having a better map control, just has flimsier forces, and I don't think he's gonna find an opening to bust through and attack into Strelok's army. He just has so many Marines, Thors, and tanks rolling around and about, and this is Strelok's death ball, and he is moving in here, sieging up all the tanks. There is a little spy staying around the area, so Sen knows exactly what's going on, and he's gonna try to spread out his Zerg forces, and this could be a good engage for Sen. He's got to get the Banelings against the Marines, and oh! The Marines have nowhere to run. They get clamped down behind the wall, and now the Roaches are on cleanup duty. Even the Queen's coming out to fight, and Sen cleans up the Terran army. That was spectacular. That was phenomenal. I cannot believe how well Sen pulled that off. When he was preparing to engage in the middle of the map, he spread some units to the left, spread some units to the right, even realizing he needed to pull Queens from his hatcheries and his Mutalisks. And really, I don't know if spreading his the Marines against the wall here was in Strelok's best interest, because actually that prevented the Marines from having a corridor to run away from those Banelings, and Sen just cleaned up. That was spectacular, that was brilliant, that was amazing. And now Sen can go ahead and expand again, and that's exactly what he's doing. Gonna grab a 5th hatchery here, and Strelok has got to remuster his army. This is one of the most critical weak points in Terran versus Zerg. When a Terran player loses his entire army to a Zerg counterattack, they have to rebuild almost immediately or suffer the wrath of the vengeful Zerg. And luckily for Strelok, really, I don't think Sen has been thinking of exacting any revenge quite yet. It would be great to see Sen, you know, make some kind of a counter so far, but he hasn't thus in this point in this game, and now he has found a pack of Marines. He will be able to clean that up with his Zerglings and Mutalisks quite handily. So he's just going to go ahead and further step higher and higher in this game. He's kind of like on the peak of the ladder right now. He's taking that extra bonus step up and just trying to secure any advantages he can possibly get to make sure that he can win this game. But it's not over yet, guys. Strelok has been allowed to rebuild, and he has actually secured the gold. That's very impressive on Strelok's part to re-secure the gold all while rebuilding. But can he withstand the next counterattack? I don't know. That's a lot of Banelings and Mutalisks. All the bunkers have been destroyed, and now there's just the Terran Natural and the buildings. The Thor has gone down. There is a tank tucked very neatly behind there, but it will go down, and all the SCVs at the Natural suffering an acidic death. and these Marines coming back will die as well. But Strelok actually holding on at the natural. That was incredible. All through that battle, you know, although Strelok did lose a ton of workers and a ton of units, he was able to hold on, and all things considered, Sen just sacrificed his entire army, and he was not able to trade efficiently in terms of army versus army. Strelok has come out with a much larger army here, with Marines and tanks and Thors, and now this is Strelok's chance here. This is his one window of opportunity to make an attack and try to destroy at least one, maybe even two hatcheries, and get back in this game. Can he do it or not? Sen is rebuilding as quickly as he possibly can, macroing like a beast. He is on hive tech right now. Does he have Greater Spire done? Yes, he does. It's actually in the back of the natural, and he's got an Ultraless Cavern on the way as well. Right now would be a good time for Sen to make up his mind. I don't think he can build both Ultras and Broodlords. He's really suffering from lack of minerals and gas. He's just lost a hatchery. He may end up losing another one. Meanwhile, Sen making a counterattack with all these Banelings. Is he going to sacrifice all the Banelings against a planetary fortress? Yes, he will! And he kills off SCVs at the same time as well. I love what Sen did right there, sending the Banelings to the back, making sure that not only did they kill the planetary, but also the repairing SCVs, further injuring Strelok. But Strelok doesn't seem like he cares. He has just killed off another hatchery of Sen's, and Sen's now is only down to 3 bases. So is Strelok, but a 3 base versus 3 base situation, that is even base, and even base does not favor Zerg at all. So Strelok getting 2 for the price of 1 essentially, and now he's pulling back his entire army back home. I think that last battle went in the favor of Strelok, quite obviously, but here is Sen's ace up the sleeve. I was saying before, he should make Broodlords or Ultras, pick one or the other, not try to invest in both, and it looks like he's decided to go ahead and go with the Broodlords, and I do applaud this decision if he can pick Strelok off guard. But I think, you know, any good Terran player worth his money, or worth his minerals in this case, should know when Broodlords are coming, and yeah, Strelok, just with that game sense, realizes that he's got Vikings on the field here, and unless Sen brings Infestors or Queens, he's gonna have a very hard time fighting these Vikings. And I don't know what Sen's doing right here. He's trying to engage where the tanks and Marines have all sieged up on the high ground. This does not bode well for Sen's gold hatchery at all. And right now, Sen's only key to staying in this game is to maintain this gold hatchery. Otherwise, you know what, he's in a ton of trouble. Random Zergling running left and right here just to check for the potential for, but Strelok doesn't seem interested in securing another base quite yet. There we go. Yeah, he's gonna bring this command center down to resecure the gold, but this game is getting down to the wire here. Sen is behind just a little bit, but he has so many Broodlords in the skies. Maybe he can out-siege this tank Marine army, but there are the Vikings to counter the Broodlords. There are not enough Corruptors to handle the Vikings, and Sen has to fall back. He's using his Queens here to try to transfuse. He doesn't have enough Banelings. The Banelings now just morphing out from the gold, and that is not going to be in time, as those Marines are just doing so much damage. Now the Banelings coming in will force the Ghosts and Marines away, and actually Sen keeping most of his Broodlords alive here, but no, Strelok just has too many Vikings. They are just shredding the Broodlords apart to pieces, and the gold hatchery has gone down from the Marines at the north. These tanks have all unsieged to prevent friendly fire damage from the Broodlords, and now I think it is over. Strelok is going to take this win in this exhibition match. Great Terran versus Zerg. A lot of back and forth action there, and Sen taking a couple of major risks to do huge backstabs that almost paid off for him, and just didn't quite pay off for him at the end of the game. There's Strelok also dropping into the main as well. Excellent gameplay by Strelok. And that, I guess, is going to be it for this exhibition matchup. I really hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. If you guys did, make sure to check me out on YouTube. Subscribing would be great. I hope you guys all watched the Super Bowl as well. I know a lot of you guys live out on the East Coast, so congratulations for both the Giants and the Patriots making it in there, and of course the G-Men for winning. Our West Coast will have our revenge next year, and hopefully you guys stay tuned for more StarCraft 2 content. I'll be coming at you guys with another broadcast, and I'll try to bring you guys the ghost scrolling snipe action that I was promising you guys at the beginning of this video. So hopefully you guys stay tuned. This is HD, signing out.